Who's going to... Oh, Roger, hi!
Hi. I am here.
Yay! Oh my goodness, you have this whole fancy setup. This is the first time I've seen this microphone, I think.
Well, it actually is as cute as it looks. So this is a very, very healthy microphone.
Well, it's very professional looking.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very, very, very professional. I mean, I don't have a mic, but I have Gizmo, so you have to do. Gizmo co-hosts with me every time, as you know.
Perfect.
So Raji, thank you so much for, being here again with us. There's so many people on who are so excited to hear from you. Someone said, Raji, you changed my life. Two of my favorites, past podcasts with me, and then hopefully some, yes, hi, Ed. So we already have so many people here who love you. And we have so many people here who are excited to meet you, and people who got a chance to listen in a bit the very first time that we did a live back in the fall, end of summer, fall, before the Flights of Success. Before you jumped on, I already had a few minutes where I had a chance to, I had my opportunity to brag about you a little bit. But, for the people who jumped on, there's a couple of people who jumped on since my bragging session. I would love if you could just share with everyone a little bit, about you. It's a little bit broad, but just because I want to hear your voice talk about all the amazing things that you are. And favorites, love. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here with us today. It's just awesome. So excited.
Look, I'm excited to be here today, and you are the guru of all things health and wellness. And so I decided that we should call this talk The Healthy Voice.
Yeah.
Because there are so many health benefits that happen when you use your voice correctly. For example, a couple of years ago, I remember reading an article saying, if you sing for 20 minutes a day, that you can increase your life expectancy up to 8 years. And
really?
Yes, I've always been saying that singing keeps you young, and I love it when science makes an honest man of me. So as you can imagine, when you're singing, you're taking a lot of breath in and you're controlling how air comes back out. But it also turns out that you're releasing a lot of dopamine, and it changes and it elevates your mood, and it controls your pulse and your heart rate. And there are and releases all kinds of endorphins, and releases all kinds of antibodies or that fight against things you don't want in your body. Be that as it may, I've always said that singing and speaking is the same thing, the way that I teach it. Most people sing like this. Oh, I love to sing. It's so much fun. It has melody and it goes up and down. And then they speak like this. I don't have any melody. I don't make any volume changes. And I sort of sound like I'm bored. And then everybody who listens to me is bored. Every so often when I get excited, I go, oh, and then I come kind of back to this, like, hey, how you doing? Good. How's it going? Great. But I always believe that I should marry singing, the melodies and volumes and all the emotional sounds of singing, and put those in the speaking voice. So when I talk about the benefits of singing being healthy, I'm saying the benefits of speaking the way that I teach is also just as healthy. And Einstein said that everything is vibration. Mm-hmm. So sound is certainly vibration.
Yes.
And so, look at Ayurvedic medicine, look at vibrational medicine. Mm-hmm. I believe, even though we don't know exactly what sound we should make when we have a headache, or what sound we should make if we have a stomach ache, I believe that the sounds we make create vibrations that are making us either healthy or unhealthy.
Yes.
And are making the people that listen to us healthy or unhealthy. Yes. Just based on the sound and based on the vibrations. So that's as scientific as I'm going to be today, other than the fact that there are a lot of health benefits. But one of the health benefits is a mental health benefit. Most people hate the sound of their voice, and they're afraid to speak in public because fear of speaking in public is still the number one fear in America, way above shark bite, way above being having lightning hit you on the head by accident. So people are afraid of speaking in public, and people don't like the sound of their voice when they hear it. So
I didn't remember when we first started.
Exactly right.
I didn't love my voice. You know, there are parts of it that I did and the parts of it that I didn't, and you helped me with that.
That just means that you, in that one area, you were normal. So not liking your voice is very unhealthy for you. Because, for example, if I know that I'm going to sound boring, I'm not the first person that raises my hand and says, let me talk. I have this great idea. If I know that I hate the sound of my voice, I'm always thinking about apologizing for jumping in and saying this, or trying to keep the attention on me, or if it's Clubhouse, or if it's Instagram, I'm thinking about, nobody wants to hear my voice. If you don't like your voice, you exude a lack of self-confidence. It's like going to a gift exchange party or showing up Christmas morning, and you brought the worst gift, and when they open up the gift, they're going to be like, ugh, why did you buy that? Why did you bring it? So unfortunately, if people are thinking about their voice that way and they're afraid to showcase it, well, how can they really be free? How can they have self-confidence? How can they,
Oh no. His Wi-Fi is, there you go. Hello?
And my Wi-Fi is good. I think what I have to figure out here is I'm using this on a new iPad, and I think I have to set the settings that it doesn't turn off. Let's see here. That I can.
Okay. So while you're doing the settings, I just wanted to just jump on what Roger was saying about sound and the healing benefits of sound. And, we talk, there's sound healing and sound bowls. We talk about breath work and just the frequencies, and just certain frequencies, like say 438 hertz and 917. And, there's all these different hertz, and you can go Google this and study it. But these different frequencies of sound waves can actually create healing in the body and in the mind, because it can soothe it can kind of put you in different states of mind, your brain waves. And so just to piggyback off of what you said, Roger, about that, and also what you brought up about self-confidence. That's definitely something that you've helped me with in terms of how I use my voice, how I speak, how I sound. And it's given me tremendous growth just in the past couple of years. So I know I tell you thank you all the time. I'm telling you thank you again, but it's also something I wanted to share with the audience, because a lot of people aren't aware about how much that does affect our self-confidence. So I'm sorry to interrupt. I hope you get the iPad fixed and we can get back on that about confidence, and also questions that came in, so that just sort of like ahead of the Q&A part. There were people that asked about how they can keep their voice strong, because there are so many people on Clubhouse now, and we are Zooming so much, and we are actually speaking more than we're listening over the past year or so, because we're making that extra effort to communicate in this way, since we're not physically together as much. And people asked about, how do I keep my voice healthy? How do I keep it strong where I'm not tired and froggy after a couple hours? And so I just wanted to throw that out there so that you knew that there's already questions coming in here, questions coming in here.
I'll answer those right now. Yeah. Here's why most people fall into this, what I call squeaky hinge. So if you're watching reality TV and everybody talks like this, I really want you to pick me, bachelor or bachelorette. I want the rose. And I'm talking like this, but my voice doesn't really sound like I deserve the rose or a one-on-one date. It sounds like like I've swallowed thorns. So that voice, that squeaky hinge, that vocal fry sound has become very, very prevalent. Yeah. And there's nothing great about that squeaky hinge sound. And actually, when you make that, even if you think it's a little bit sexy sometimes, when you make it, actually what's happening at the vocal cords is they're slamming against each other. And the vocal cords are saying, ouch, ouch, ouch. They don't like slamming against each other without any air. So to have a strong voice, a resonant voice, an influential voice, you want to have some air mixed into the sound. And when you do this, there's no air. So here's how to fix it. I'm sure you've told your people a million times about diaphragmatic breathing, so I don't have to explain that, although I have to explain this. Diaphragmatic breathing, 101. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe in through your nose, not your mouth. When you breathe into your mouth, you dry up your throat tremendously. Breathe in through your nose, the air becomes moist air. And then when you inhale, let your tummy come forward. Let your stomach come forward as if you were filling up a balloon. Then when you speak, make sure that your stomach is coming back in. Most people speak and they're holding their stomach tight and they sound like this. And that's why they go into the squeaky hinge. They're getting no air. But if you let your stomach come in, you hear what happens. Suddenly, like an accordion, when the sides of the accordion come together, it pushes air out of the instrument. So just pretend you swallowed an accordion and you got to bring your stomach in when you're speaking. And then you won't do squeaky hinge. Your breathing will be amazing. You'll sound louder and thicker and stronger and more resonant. And your sound will carry and it'll vibrate the bodies of the people that hear you. And those are all good things. Stop holding your breath. Stop doing squeaky hinge.
Mm-hmm. And so it's that easy, huh? Just stop holding your breath. Stop doing squeaky hinge. And yet I still have to remind myself of that all the time.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you got to remember, it used to be that people didn't want to let their stomachs come forward because they would always say to me, Roger, I don't want my stomach to pooch out. And I would always say this, when you're talking to someone, they don't notice when your stomach comes out. They don't notice because they're standing in front of you. So my stomach comes out. What happens is it comes forward and then it comes back in. You don't notice. What you notice is this. People breathing like this all the time. That's really, to me, that's much more annoying than pretending you have a flat stomach and not letting it come out a little bit. They're standing in front of you. They can't see your stomach pooch out. And that sound quality is amazing when your stomach comes in while you're speaking. That's how you have to do it. And it just becomes second nature. But you have to play with it until that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. You have to practice. And it's so true because people's bodies, they vibrate with your sound, whether or not it's in person or even just now through a live stream or through a Zoom, and definitely through Clubhouse, because when I hear you speak, the vibrations, I can feel it on the receiving end. And could you talk to everyone about that a little bit? Because I don't think people are aware of how powerful that can be.
When you speak, sound is supposed to come out of your mouth and ride out on a solid stream of air, and it's supposed to vibrate the bodies of the people that hear you. So sound is invisible, but it still is coming out of your mouth. And if it vibrates the bodies of the people that hear you, they not only hear you, but they feel you. So I say that speaking is a physical connection, not just an oral connection. It's a physical connection. Your job is to speak and vibrate the bodies of the people who are in your vicinity, even like you said, even over through the microphone and stuff like that. There's still a vibration. Mm-hmm. So if that happens, then the people feel more physically connected to you. Yeah. And also you have to remember that most people speak too softly because they think there's a microphone right there. So they're speaking really softly. And there's a mic. I don't have to be loud. There's a mic in the computer. I don't have to be loud. But volume is strength. And most people are afraid to be louder because they think it makes them sound angry. So they avoid all of the volume things because they don't want to sound angry. But volume alone isn't anger. I could be as loud as I want, but as long as I have melody that I'm going up and I'm going down, I'm so mad. I just won the lottery. It's horrible. I'm going to give everybody $1 million. So if you have melody and volume, it sounds good. If you have no melody and volume and you say the words really fast, of course you're going to sound angry. I just won the lottery, but I lost all the money already. But don't be afraid of volume. Just have volume and melody, and then you sound strong and thick.
Mm-hmm. And that's what some of the comments that are coming in, it's just they feel like being loud is yelling, but that's because they don't have the melody.
Yeah, they don't have any melody. Being loud and sounding bad is not only ugly, there's nothing pleasant about it. But being loud and sounding amazing with that volume is one of the things that makes you sound strong and powerful and confident. Volume is still a big indicator of confidence. So if you are in a room and you're speaking softly, you may be the smartest person in the room. You may have the best idea. You might have the most love and empathy, but you're speaking really softly. And then it's just really easy for people not to take you seriously. Mm-hmm. And it's also people need to learn about when they should use which voice. Yes. Because they're also thinking that, well, they found a voice that sort of works for them. They've gotten used to it. This is the sound I make. I don't hate it every time I buy a new iPhone and I record a voice message. I don't hate it to death. I just hate it a little. So this is my voice. And this is the sounds it makes. And then they use that voice during the day for business. For example, I'm a voice teacher. You could guess. And my voice teacher voice is big and thick and strong, lots of melody, lots of hand gestures, lots of physicalization. I'm omnipotent. I'm omnipresent. I can turn water into wine. I can solve any vocal problem that exists in the universe. I can fix them all. So there's a lot of strength and projected through my voice. Now, if I go home with that voice and I walk in the door, here I am, feeling godlike. I've created this number of miracles today. Receive me. Then what happens is my wife says, yo, superstar, take the trash out and come back as husband. And so I come back, I do take the trash out and I come back as husband. Now husband is a little softer. Husband isn't quite so big and strong and listen to me. It isn't attention grabbing. Here's a hint for husband or partner voice. Longer silence at commas. So during the day, I'm sort of getting paid by the word for the advice. But at home, nobody's paying me for my advice. So what happens? They want to talk to me. So I say, how are you? And then I do this. Silence. It's a good thing. Silence. And then I listen to them talk for as long as they want. So I don't have quite as many silent, long pauses as a voice coach. But as a husband, I got a lot of silent, long pauses so she can tell me whatever I want. Then what if I use that husband voice with my kids all the time? Well, then they would play naked on the freeway 24 hours a day and eat nothing but ice cream and chocolate chip cookies. Because that voice has no disciplinary tactics or sounds that makes them say, like, let's march in order to the dinner table. So I have to change my voice a little bit when I'm dealing with my kids. And on Wednesday nights before COVID, when I used to go play basketball in the adults league, I'd have another voice that would work playing basketball with the other guys on the team. A voice that said things like, you don't need to guard me full court. I'm not going to shoot from this end. Back off. And so, but if I would use my husband voice with them, they'd guard me full court. Mm-hmm. And I'd be tired and have a heart attack by the middle of the game because I'd be running around sweating so much. So we need to realize that we can change our voice a little bit as we move from different parts of who we are and different roles that we play in life. Too many people are bringing their boardroom voice into the bedroom. That's my chair. Or bringing their bedroom voice into the boardroom. And here's my idea. Isn't it sweet and kind and loving? And so, but you can't do that. You have to find the authentic parts of you and the voices and the sounds that work for you for each situation. And then you could be successful across all aspects of your life. By the way, thank you for all those lovely hearts that I see coming up and down the screens.
So many hearts, and I just have to tell you, people are saying, I love everything, love Roger, thank you for all that you do, Roger's amazing.
No.
You're not genius, you're not Jesus, but that's okay, because only Jesus is Jesus.
Yeah, and the wine that I turned, the water I turned from wine is not good, it's not good wine. I think his was really good wine.
Someone says learning from Roger in the past, that's Ed, from learning from Roger in the past 3 months has been the best professional thing for me so far in 2021.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
Thank you, Ed.
That's wonderful. Well, and Roger, there were questions that came in, just earlier. It's through just the text messages that people send and DMs, just about you've worked with some of the biggest names, not just in music, but across speaking stages, and you yourself are one of those people. How do you help these people maintain a healthy voice? When someone is performing on tour for 200 days out of a year at such a high level, like a Gwen Stefani, you've got John Mayer, Selena Gomez. And then you have Tony Robbins, who is speaking, and he does, I think he's told us he traveled, or he used to travel like 300 days a year. Everyone who's done a Tony's event knows that they go 12 hours, and he'll be talking without bathroom breaks for, 10 of those hours. What are some things that you can share with us for how you've helped these people keep their voice healthy and strong?
Awesome. Great question. First, you should know that the human voice is set up to speak or sing 24 hours a day and never get hoarse. The voice, if you're making the right sounds, if you're drinking and eating what you should, the voice is there for you 24 hours a day. When you're dreaming at night, and if you're and you're speaking in your dreams, your vocal cords are still vibrating. Your mouth might not be open and sound might not be coming out, but there's very little period of total inactivity for your vocal cords, even when you sleep. So it's set up to work all the time. Here are some of the things that take away some of those hours that you were granted by birth to be able to use your voice. People speak too airy. And when you speak too airy, thinking that I'm going to speak airy because then that's going to show that I care more. Air means care. But if I speak really airy all the time, then all that extra air blows past my vocal cords and it dries up the moisture on my cords. And then I start to get hoarse and I lose my voice. So speaking airy robs you of hours that you could be speaking. Also, back to what we said earlier, speaking with that vocal fry, pick me, that also takes away hours that you could be speaking because it makes the vocal cords slam into each other and there's no air at all. So speaking airy makes you lose your voice. Speaking vocal fry makes you lose your voice. Not drinking enough water certainly makes you lose your voice. What you need to understand is there is all the parts of the body that need water, your brain and your heart and all the parts of the body that really need water so that you can stay alive.
Yes.
Those organs, and they're standing in line. And at the front of the line is your heart, your brain, who wants water. And at the back of the line, saying like, me, is there any left for me? Are your salivary glands. What produces the mucus of the throat called phlegm, which is a good thing. You want to have some phlegm. That's the lubricant of the vocal cords. So the salivary glands are at the very end of the line saying, I'm really thirsty. Please drink enough for me. But in order for the salivary glands to get enough water to make the right amount of phlegm, the thin, watery, beautiful kind of phlegm that makes your voice sound great, you have to drink at least a half a gallon of water a day. At least. Now, I'm sure you tell your people to drink tons of water a day. You tell me to drink tons of water a day. And I'm always thinking about you when I drink water. I'm thinking, Here's some water. No, that's not enough.
I'm like the water Nazi.
Here's some water. That's not enough. Here's some more water. No, that's not enough. So I've got 3 things of liquid here, and I'm always thinking, Serena's going to say that's not enough. Right? So I'm always drinking water. But as long as you drink about a half a gallon to 3/4 of a gallon of water a day, and actually, it's worth the extra trips to the restroom. And also, you can train your bladder to not have to go to urinate the first second it tells you that you have to urinate, right? So drinking lots of water and not being too airy and not doing the squeaky hinge are 3 very, very good ways to be able to use your voice for more hours.
Oh, it's such easily applied information too. Just remembering when you're a little too airy or drying out your vocal cords. Now, with that vocal fry, does that actually, and I'm asking because the question popped up while you were talking, does that actually cause damage to your vocal cords, like over, let's say, an extended period of time? So if you're now in your 30s or 50s and you're realizing, gosh, I've been doing that thing Roger calls vocal fry, has that caused damage?
Yeah,
it makes your reversed.
Yes. The good news is it creates edema, which starts with redness and then swelling of the vocal cords. And if your cords are always swollen from you doing vocal fry, then eventually they can start to develop like calluses called nodes or nodules. They can, just like if you play the guitar and you're always playing the guitar and your fingers are always rubbing against the strings, then what happens on your fingers? They develop calluses, and it's your brain trying to say, I'm going to save your fingerprints. So I'm going to save you the trouble of trying to find new fingers, and I'm going to put a little extra layer of skin. Well, the vocal cords do the same thing. They don't like slamming against each other without any air. So then you can create all kinds of things like nodes or nodules, or which again are just sort of like calluses that grow on the vocal cords. But then it makes the vocal cords hard to connect, and they don't like that. And so continued edema, chronic swelling can absolutely make you hoarse all the time and eventually damage the vocal cords if you keep doing it.
So basically, if that's what you've been doing, you need to stop today and listen to what Roger said.
Stop holding your breath when you speak, which will also make you speak longer. Imagine if your job is a pearl diver and you're working at some park and you take a breath and you go down in the pearl tank and you got to stay down there until you can find a really nice clam with a really nice pearl, and then you come up and you sell it. Well, that's how most of you are speaking. You're underwater, holding your breath, hoping you find pearls, and all of that body feeling like you're asphyxiated or that you're choking, it creates all kind of tension. So when you're breathing, when you're holding your stomach tight, the body thinks you're choking. And then the larynx starts to come up and close up the air hole, and your stomach is all tight. And then there's pressure on the strap muscles under your neck and on the sides of your neck, and it gets all tight. And speaking like that is actually physically tiring, robbing your body of the energy that you need. So speaking louder and thicker and having the air come in through your nose and then come out of your mouth solid and strong because your stomach is coming in is really healthy for the vocal cords, and it relieves all of those other tensions that your brain is doing because it thinks you're actually choking or asphyxiating and you haven't found the pearl yet.
Mm-hmm. No, so and another just such a good reminder. And there are people that asked, and I know you have so many programs where if you have this somewhere online, and just a reminder for those of you guys who didn't hear it when I said it earlier, Roger's got 4 books. He's got 4 best-selling books, and he has all these different courses and programs. But for Stage 7 Roger, someone who it has been doing that to their voice, which you have so many different programs. Maybe you could share some recommendations that people can go to your site and sign up for it. Absolutely.
My first recommendation is go free. Go for the free stuff. Okay. go to you go to my Love Your Voice challenge. It's 7 days where you'll spend literally 15 minutes with me a day. on video, of course, but it is with me and you'll feel like you're at my studio. So the 7-day Love Your Voice Challenge, go to rogerlove.com and click on it. Go on Instagram and to my bio, Instagram, and take the free. Did I mention free? 7-day Love Your Voice Challenge, because maybe you don't love your voice on day 1, but on day 7, you're going to love your voice a lot more. And you're going to learn how to fix the squeaky hands. You're going to learn other things about melody that you're doing right and wrong and volumes and something new every single day. So get it for free. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to help people get healthier voices. So take advantage of all the free things. And if after you've decided you want more, there's plenty of things you could buy. You can start with The Perfect Voice, theperfectvoice.com, or just go to rogerlove.com. But right now, why don't you spend a week with me for free and see if we get along really, really well? And I'm your new best voice friend. And let me help you love your voice at the end of those 7 days.
Yes, and I obviously am such a testament to how amazing you are, and Roger will be your best friend. He is just the best, one of the best people I have ever met. I've already said that. I say that on lives where you're not even the guest. I talk about you and talk about how amazing you are. And you guys, if you don't already follow Roger, there's a pinned comment on the bottom here, and that's Roger's Instagram account. And just go there, follow him, and you can find all the things and sign up for this free challenge. I really encourage you to do so, because it's a gift, not just from Roger, but it's a gift for yourself and for someone that you love and care about. And all of this, so many amazing people saying, yes, Roger's the best. He's taught me so much. Thank you for this gift. And there's a beautiful comment right here I just want to read. The fact that Roger has posted all this content for free shows you what an amazing guy he is. He has a heart for people and wants to be able to be successful and make the most of the voice every day. And that is 1,000,000% true. And I can only agree with RW Kelly 8. I'm sorry I don't know your first name. Put in the comments here, but thank you for sharing that. It's so true. So we have so much love for you, Roger. You can be on here forever just talking about how much we love you. This has already helped so many people. We can tell by the hearts and the comments. And, we were talking about Clubhouse a little bit earlier, and I just want everyone to know, first of all, we're going to take this to Clubhouse in about 20-30 minutes or so. We're going to start there at 2 p.m. so that you can actually maybe have an opportunity. Oh, Ryan Kelly. Okay, hi, Ryan Kelly. And get a chance to let Roger hear your voice and give you some tips about your voice and how you can make your voice stronger and healthier. But also, Roger's got rooms that he's got on Clubhouse that you need to go and follow and put notifications. And if you don't already, you've got to go follow Roger. So Roger, can you tell us a little bit about your rooms that you have on Clubhouse right now, and just
sure.
The amazing things you're doing there?
I have a room tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I hope you're all in the East Coast right now. And it's with Remarkable Minds. And so I have one tomorrow morning that any of you that don't feel like you've gotten enough time with me by the end of this and by the end of Clubhouse today, come have breakfast with me tomorrow morning in that club. But I really have enjoyed the Clubhouse experience, and people, if you're not familiar with it, you should do it, because there's so many amazing experts that are giving of their time to teach. I've made some fantastic new friends, acquaintances, and learned so much already by hooking up with some of the experts that I've met on Clubhouse. So right now, while it's all free and people are giving it away, take it. Why not? My student Rachel Hollis always said, don't pay for anything until you have to. She would say, it's all available on the internet. Rachel would say, I learned everything that I needed to know from the internet. So,
well, it's definitely free for now, right?
Yeah.
So much amazing information, and people are asking, how do we join the Clubhouse today? So if you go to my stories, and you'll see in the slides, there's swipe up where it says surprise. You'll be able to swipe up and join he's frozen. I'm not. Do you guys see me? Do you guys see me? Do you hear me?
Now we see you. But I was telling them that while you were frozen like that, you were singing, let it go, and they just didn't know.
Okay, good. So we're all back. But yes, Roger, I wanted you to share with everyone your clubs, because you have clubs on Clubhouse as well too, right?
Yeah.
You join other ones as a guest.
One of my clubs is the Masters of Voice Club.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to join a club? Join the Masters of Voice Club. We'd love to have you.
Yes, beautiful. And then you'll be hosting there as well. And for those of you who are already on Clubhouse and you don't follow Roger, it's Roger Love Vocals, right? That's your handle. I should have put it on the comments here, but
you'll
probably find it. But you'll find it once you do the swipe up, because then you'll see Roger's profile picture, and then you just tap that and you follow, and you'll be able to follow his clubs as well. So just to let everybody know that before we come close and some people drop off, wanted to let people know that. And there's been a series of questions, Roger, for people where English is not their first language. And I know you get these quite often, and we did get several questions about that. As basic as if you can even work with someone who, has an accent, which I know you can, but just maybe walking someone through what that process is like.
Great, perfect. Mm-hmm. People come to me all the time and with accents, and they often say to me, Roger, I want you to eliminate my accent. Mm-hmm. And I always say, no. Your accent's amazing. It's beautiful. It's who you are. It's where you're from. When people hear accents, they think positive things, not just negative things sometimes. They think positive things. I hear an accent and I think, oh, they're from England. I wonder if they went to Oxford or wow, they're from this place and it sounds so exotic. I wonder if they grew up and right outside of their bedroom window was a tree that just would drop fruit into their hands and they would eat the fruit, or maybe they lived close to the water, or maybe they had some kind of amazing experience that I didn't grow up in the San Fernando Valley, where it wasn't 40 shades of green pastures and grass. It was 25 shades of asphalt. So I'm thinking, well, maybe there's an exoticness to it. Here's the problem, though. Sometimes when you have an accent or a regionalism, sometimes you can have a pronunciation of particular vowels or consonants that make it difficult for the listener to understand that word. So I remember when I was growing up, Elton John had this one song, and in the one lyric, he kept saying, garage, something about a garage. And I was singing along, and I'd get to garage, and I was like, what? And I'd sing the rest of the song, or I'd sing it again. I'd get to garage. I'm like, what? So when you're just listening and you're loving what somebody's saying and you understand all the words, all of that's going into the right side of the brain, the emotional side of the brain. I like this person. They seem nice. They're sweet. They're fun. And then all of a sudden when they say a word that you don't recognize, it throws it to the left side of your brain. And you're like, whoa. What's a garage? Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be talking to people all the time and have them bouncing back and forth between the right side of the brain, the creative listener, and the left side of the brain, the logical mathematician, because it interrupts that whole emotion flow. Mm-hmm. So I've learned that no matter how thick an accent is, it comes down to a few little vowels or consonants, or the way that you place your tongue or your teeth. For example, let's say you grew up in Pakistan and you had sort of an Indian dialect. Well, you learned that instead of a TH, this and that, you would say dis and dat, and dis and dat. So you learned that the TH sound is actually a D, but it's not a D in the general American vernacular. So somebody comes in with a really thick Indian accent, and they say, people don't understand me when I say this and when I say that, and then I say, okay, just learn how to say this. So instead of d, where your tongue stays behind your teeth, put your tongue between your teeth. This, that, this and that. And then they speak with a beautiful Indian accent, and the TH sound is totally understandable, and they sound amazing to themselves and everyone that's listening. And all I had to do was teach them to move their tongue to hear instead of da, 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 da. So a few things like that. Embrace your accent, figure out the few vowels or consonants that are totally confusing people because they don't understand those words, and then spread your accent all around the world, and come in proudly with showcasing that we're all different, and that's amazing.
And that's it's so beautiful, because we had comments that were all saying, I have an accent and I want to get rid of it. I have an accent and I don't like it. And Roger's saying, just focus on those couple things you can tweak and keep your beautiful accent.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of your accent. You want to use your accent, but make people understand everything you say and feel what you feel, and connect together in conversations. You don't have to lose your accent for that.
And I actually think accents are cool. I kind of wish I had an accent. It's just another little something that makes you special.
You do have an accent, General American. That's an accent. If I have a different accent, you're the one that has an accent. If I spoke Spanish as my first language and I heard you, I'd be like, man, you got a big accent.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And so, thank you, Roger, I know that our focus was on a healthy voice, and we have those three big points that you said. It was hydration, no airy, and no squeaky hinge, just as starters. And then, of course, your 7-day challenge as your fourth bonus way to make sure that you're ensuring you have a healthy voice. But I'm just really grateful that you're answering all these other questions, because we have actually quite a large Indian population in our audience here, and it's amazing that people stay up, because I think it's quite late there, and so I appreciate you giving them that little bit, those tips to turn that into it.
I love it. And Sadanand said, I'm Indian, and Sanskrit is the base of all languages on earth. Even better.
Wow.
Awesome.
It's so true. That's awesome. And then, I'm so sorry, Carla. You asked this question a little ways back, and I didn't get to it. It was about having a lower voice as a female, and how to maybe have a higher, more feminine voice.
That's a great question. A lot of women think, if they're in a very male-dominated business situation or conversation, that they don't know. Should I lower my voice and try to sound more like a guy? Should I keep my voice up high, make sure they know I'm a woman? And so it's confusing in that respect. And here's what I say. When little boys and little girls before puberty were little boys and girls before puberty, their voices were exactly the same. We hit all the same notes. We made all the same resonances. We sounded exactly the same. So I think that was one of the reasons that little boys and little girls, they would bring each other home, and they'd say, hey, Mommy, this is my best friend. Mommy, this is my best friend. Mommy, this is my best friend. And nobody was thinking about gender differences, because they actually sounded the same. So when a little boy spoke to a little girl, those vibrations, those sound waves felt the same to her as when the little boy spoke to the little girl, vice versa. They felt like they were singing the same song, making the same sounds, the same vibrations. And then boom, puberty happens. And not only do men start to grow hair more, like they grow beards more, but when puberty happens, the male voice drops an octave, which is a lot of notes, drops an octave, because up until puberty, the larynx, the voice box, as it were, grows at the same rate. But at puberty, a woman's larynx, Adam's apple and all those things, slow down their growth, and a man's keeps going. That's why if you're at a party and it's dark and you're wandering around the room and you're thinking, who should I kiss? Who should I kiss? And you want to put your finger on somebody's Adam's apple so that you'll know if it sticks out, that's a guy. You want to kiss a guy, kiss a guy. If it doesn't stick out and you found the Adam's apple, that's a girl. You want to kiss a girl, kiss a girl. But now you know. Okay. So anyways, then puberty happens. The male voice drops an octave. Now we sound different to each other, and we're actually vibrating our bodies in a different way. So we were talking like this before, and isn't that cool? Then all of a sudden I'm like, hello, honey. And it's a whole different thing. And I believe at that moment, that's one of the problems. That's one of the things that separates gender communication. So I realized later on in life that there actually is an area called overlapping frequencies, where if a man goes high enough and a woman comes down low enough in a particular area, that they overlap. So I teach all my men to be able to have all lows and all mids and all highs. So speakers and singers that I work with have to be able to go, all the way up and down. And you're like, okay, that's cool. And women have to be able to do the same thing, from all the way down low to all the way up high. Because when they have that big of a range, there are plenty of frequencies and notes that coincide. What I said are called overlapping frequencies. So a woman is not supposed to just go down low all the time and try to sound like a guy, because clearly she's not a guy. And a guy's looking at a woman trying to sound like a guy, and that doesn't showcase authenticity. I want men and women to showcase the best of men and women, and I want to showcase the best parts of my masculine side. I want to showcase the best sides of my feminine side, and I want all of that to come through in my voice. And I want the same thing for every woman, to showcase the great feminine sounds and also the great, stronger masculine sounds. One of my students, Simon Sinek, who's one of the most famous speakers in the world, probably the highest watched TED Talk person ever, I heard him the other day on Clubhouse, and he said, it's not that we necessarily need more women in the workplace. We need everyone to think like women. We need everyone to think like women. Yeah. So I'm saying that when you learn how to use your voice all the way up and down, you as a woman, you can stay higher and thicker and stronger and still have power and influence and command the room. And men can go higher if they feel like it and still have power, that we can go all the way up and down the whole range. And there's strength and power and impact in all of it. It's just that people have gotten so used to staying in such a limited range, like they're a piano and they only have a few notes, and they need to have a lot of notes. And then we use all of the range and showcase all the different emotions. And that's how to have a great voice, and that's how to have impact.
And such a good, and we're going to probably wrap up here in a few minutes here, but that's just it's such a great note to remind people of that that's really how you have impact, when you have that range. And there's a bunch of people that have asked about working with you, who think that maybe they can. There are people who are overseas, and again, I just want to remind you guys that Roger has so much information online, and for those of you who think that it might be outside of your budget or your range, he's got a 7-day free challenge. So go sign up for that and see what that does for you. And you'll feel the difference in your body, the difference in your voice, and just vibrationally. And people are going to respond to you different. That's something that I really wanted to point out, Roger. It was just how I noticed how people responded to me differently in a positive way as my voice evolved from working with you, and just from the practices that you taught and applying the tools that you're sharing here today. And of course, there are more tools in that, a little bit more in depth, but that people responded to me differently. And it's just a good reminder.
I don't think people realize that you're totally in control over the way other people respond to you, the way other people perceive you. That the reason that people are less than self-confident is because they're afraid that if they present themselves, if they open up their mouths and if they speak, that people will judge them harshly. People will say, I don't agree with you. I don't like you. You're not that nice. You're not that smart. So of course we're afraid to speak. People are afraid to speak in public because being judged harshly, especially when people don't know you and they haven't spent a lot of time with you, being judged harshly, that hurts no matter how much ego or how many degrees you have, PhDs and MAs and all the kind of things that you have out on your business card, Dragon Slayer, that it hurts when people judge you harshly. Well, good news is the reason they're actually judging you and the only thing they can judge you on are the sounds that come out of your mouth. So you're totally in control over the perception of others. You just got to get better within the first seconds, because within 3 or 4 seconds, people are already making value judgments about you.
Yeah.
Within 3 or 4 seconds, they're like, why is Roger so close to the thing? And they don't know that today's my first day with this iPad and I have the wrong stand. So I can't lean it any further this way so that I could go further back, because I'd sort of like to be right about here, but I don't have a stand that works for that. So they're like, Roger must really like his forehead or something because he's so close to the mic, but they don't know that I just have the wrong stand. And this is the first day I've done Instagram Live with this iPad and with this new system. So it has a couple of kinks in it, including that I'm really close to the camera.
We love you close by, though. We love to see you. I have people say, can you please turn off the comments so that we can see Roger's face? And I was like, well, then I can't see the comments. So
okay, so that's good. Oh, so then look how young I am with comments all over my face. The comments are way better than lines. See, here I am, right there in a little space. Okay, so bottom line is that you control the way other people perceive you. You learn to showcase sounds and words that show you as like you're a master at showcasing who you are. Serena loves, the reason that it says loves is because Serena actually loves her clients, loves the people so much that she wants to help. So there's so much love. So you showcase love and empathy and caring and interest and passion, and it comes through so that 5 seconds of listening to you, I'm like, here's a woman who cares and is passionate and is intelligent. And you've learned to showcase the best sides of you in the shortest amount of seconds. But most people aren't working on that, or they're working on the words, but they don't understand how important the sound is because, like I said, the brain processes spoken language first for emotion and then for logic. So you can't just come online or on Clubhouse and say, I'm super friendly. I'm very empathetic. I love everybody. Come, I will teach you. And then expect people to be like, wow, that sounds like I want that. No, they'll be like, no wonder you don't charge anything because you don't sound like you're worth anything. So you control the perception of others. You just have to work on your voice, and it's sounds over words.
Sounds over words, you guys. That is what you have to remember. And, we're getting all these questions. So on stories, we'll continue this. And so before Instagram kicks us off, I want to just thank Roger for the time he spent with us here. And like, he's so generous, he's going to spend more time with us on Clubhouse. So go to the bottom right here on the pinned post, and you'll see Roger's Instagram account. Go follow him. And if you go to my stories, you'll see the swipe up for the room that we're going to be in about 8 minutes. We'll be there, and you'll be able to ask more questions. All these questions answered on Clubhouse. I'm just scrolling up, follow links. Yes, so that's where you guys go, and we'll see you there very shortly. And Roger, thank you so much. You're just the best. I just love you. I'm so grateful. And I won't get to see your face, but I'll get to talk to you in just a few more minutes.
I love it. And those of you that don't have Clubhouse, I'll miss you, and come see us another time. Serena, thanks for having me, and I'll see you in a few minutes on the other platform.
Okay. All right. I'll see you soon. Okay. Thanks, you guys.